Hello children, welcome to English video lessons. Happy to see you all. You all want to become famous. Am I correct? Yes. How will you become famous? By doing good deeds or by doing heroic deeds. Okay. Today I am going to introduce a great warrior named Ulysses. So Ulysses is a poem written by Alfred Tennyson. Alfred Tennyson was a British poet. He was the poet laureate of Great Britain and Ireland during much of Queen Victoria's reign. He became the most popular poet of the Victorian age. Tennyson excelled at writing short lyrics such as break, 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 tears, idle tears, crossing the bar, and the charge of the light brigade. He wrote verses on classical mythology such as Ulysses, Idylls of the King, and Tithonus. The poem Ulysses, it's a dramatic monologue. What do you mean by dramatic monologue? You have already learned what a monologue is, a long speech given by an actor. So, dramatic monologue is a poetic form that presents the speech of a person in a dramatic manner to a silent audience. So, this poem contains 70 lines of blank verse. Blank verse does not contain rhyme. It is found in the form of iambic pentameter. What do you mean by iambic pentameter? Penta means 5. Meter, one unstressed syllable and one stressed syllable make 1 meter. A line having 10 syllables. 5 syllables are stressed and 5 syllables are unstressed. That is blank verse. In Greek legend, Odysseus was one of the Greek heroes who fought in the Trojan War. Odysseus. Have you heard about the name Odysseus? He was the great Greek hero. Ulysses is the Roman name for Odysseus. The poem Ulysses is divided into 3 parts. The first part is Ulysses' thirst for adventure. His thirst for adventure doesn't allow him to remain in his kingdom as a mere ruler. The second, Ulysses handing over the responsibility to his son Telemachus with total confidence in his abilities. Third part is Ulysses' clarion call to his sailors, urging them to venture into unknown lands. Who was Odysseus? Odysseus was one of the Greek heroes. He is called by the name Ulysses by the Romans. Let me read the poem. It little profits that an idle king by the still earth among these barren crags, matched with an aged wife, I meet and dole unequal laws unto a savage race that hoard and sleep and feed and know not me. So, it little profits, that means it is useless. Ulysses says, a king gains nothing from just sitting by the fire with his aged wife and making laws for the people who do not know him. So he feels boring in his kingdom. He considers his people as savage people. They are compared to drones who do nothing but only eat and sleep. So in this stanza, what we learn is Ulysses complains that he is idle as a king, sitting by the fire with his elderly wife and making laws for the people who don't even know him. The people of his kingdom are a savage race, uncivilized, uncultured, like hoard, sleep and feed. Next stanza. I cannot rest from travel. I will bring life to the least. All times I have enjoyed greatly, have suffered greatly, both with those that love me and alone, on shore, and went through scudding drifts, the raining Hyads, vexed the dim sea. So here he reveals his unquenchable spirit for travel. I cannot rest from travel. That means he wants to travel a lot. He wants to travel to the unknown world. I will bring life to the least. Children like some juicy items, no? If I give them juices, they will drink to the last drop. Like that, Ulysses, he wants to live his life to the fullest. You see that picture? A man is drinking something to the last drop. Like that, Ulysses wants to live his life to the fullest. He has suffered greatly, he has enjoyed greatly, sometimes alone, sometimes with his companions, on the dry land and also in the depth of the sea, while sailing through heavy rains and destructive storms. What do you mean by Hyads? Hyads is a group of stars, as more often associated with rains. Next stanza. I am become a name for always roaming with a hungry heart. Much have I seen and known, cities of men and manners, climates, councils, governments, myself not least, but honored of them all, and drunk delight of battle with my peers. For on the ringing plains of windy Troy, I am a part of all that I have met. So I am become a name. That means he has become a household name. He has become famous to all through his traveling experience. He has seen various countries, various cities of men, manners, climates, councils and governments. So he enjoyed the battle. What battle? The Trojan War. Here Ulysses, he tells us that he enjoyed the battle of Troy. He enjoyed fighting in the war and drunk delight of battle with my peers. Peers, that means companions. For on the ringing plains of windy Troy. What do you mean by ringing plains? That is, the soldiers, they would fight with the armors. So, while fighting, the armors were clashing and making a ringing sound. For on the ringing plains of windy Troy, I am a part of all that I have met. So, Ulysses, he became a part wherever he went. Again, I say the paraphrase, Ulysses has become famous because he has traveled widely. He has encountered different places, different manners, weather, governments, etc. He roams with a hungry heart wherever he went. He was honored by everyone he met. They enjoyed the battle of Troy. He was a part of all that he has met. Let's see the next stanza. Yet all experience is an arch wherethrough gleams that untraveled world whose margin fades forever and ever when I move. How dull it is to pass, to make an end, to rust unburnished, not to shine in use, as though to breathe were life, life piled on life. Have you understood what Ulysses tells in this stanza? Ulysses, he compares his life or experience to an arch. So, he describes the untraveled world as a place. So, the more he travels, the more margins of the world are covered up. He says that some kind of metallic instruments will shine when we use them. They will rust if nobody uses them. So, he reiterates that it is boring to sit idle. He doesn't like to lead an idle life without any adventure. In this stanza, he compares himself to a metal. Life piled on life, were all too little and of one to me. Little remains, but every hour is saved from that eternal silence. Something more, a bringer of new things. And while it were for some 3 suns to store and hoard myself, and this grey spirit yearning in desire to follow knowledge like a sinking star beyond the utmost bound of human thought. Life piled on life. So, Ulysses says, multiple of life are not enough to him because he wants to do more things in his life. So, he has given only one life. In that life also, only little remains because he has attained his old age. So, he has a very little in his life to achieve. So, every hour is saved in his life. Though he is an old man, nearing the end of his life, he wants to make the most of what's left. For him, it's a waste of time to hang out in Ithaca for 3 years when his desire for adventure is still so alive. Each hour brings him new experiences. He wants to chase after knowledge like a sinking star. Let's come to the second part. In this part, Ulysses hands over his kingdom to his beloved son Telemachus. Let's read this stanza. This is my son, mine own Telemachus, to whom I leave the scepter and isle, well loved of me, discerning to fulfill this labor by slow prudence, to make mild a rugged people, and through soft degrees subdued them to the useful and the good. Here, Ulysses tells about his son, his good qualities. He is well loved by Ulysses. So, Ulysses wants to hand over his kingdom to his son. In this stanza, Ulysses introduces his son Telemachus. He is the right guy to take over the job of the king of Ithaca. Telemachus is very smart and patient. He could transform the rugged people through his soft nature, and he is able to subdue them to make them good and useful. Next stanza. Most blameless is he, centered in the sphere of common duties, decent not to fail in offices of tenderness, and pay meet adoration to my household gods. When I am gone, he works his work, I mine. Here, Ulysses tells that Telemachus is blameless. He is without any faults. He is the right person to rule over Ithaca. He never fails in his duties. He is very sincere. He will do all his duties sincerely, and he never forgets to pay respects to the gods, and he entrusts him as a good king. In the last line, Ulysses says, when I am gone, he works his work, I mine. So Ulysses has planned to go to the unknown world. So he says he works his work, I mine. He will rule over the country, whereas I will go for travel. So we have learned what Ulysses told about his son. Okay. This is the third part of the poem. There lies the port. The vessel puffs her sail. There gloom the dark, broad seas, my mariners, souls that have toiled and wrought and thought with me, that ever with the frolic welcome took the thunder and the sunshine and opposed free hearts, free foreheads. You and I are old. Old age hath yet his honor and his joy. There lies the sport. Here, Ulysses, he shifts our attention to the port of Ithaca. The vessel puffs her sail. The ship is preparing to set sail. The ship is preparing to set sail. There gloom the dark, broad seas. My mariners, here he tells about the sailors who worked with him day and night, who faced challenges with him, souls that have toiled and wrought and thought with me, that ever with the frolic welcome took the thunder and the sunshine. Thunder means bad times. Sunshine, good times. So the sailors, they were with Ulysses during the good times and bad times. Even though they are old, still they have the spirit to achieve. Ulysses says that old age people, they may be respected, but they have responsibilities. Next stanza. Death closes all, but something at the end, some work of noble note, may yet be done. Not unbecoming men that strove with gods, the lights begin to twinkle from the rocks. The long day wanes, the slow moon climbs, the deep moans round with many voices. Come, my friends. Death closes all. Ulysses knows that he is nearing the end because death puts an end to everything. But before death, there is something to achieve. So Ulysses says that some work should be done before death. During his young stage, he and his sailors, they were striving against the will of God. Like that, they want to strive. So Ulysses wishes before the end comes, he wants to explore as much as possible and gain knowledge. He and his sailors, they have been sailing endlessly throughout the day and night. The day has entered and the night has started. When a day ends, it is like the end of his life. It reminds him of ghost and pupil mourning at death. It's not too late to seek a newer world. Push off and sitting well in order's might. The sounding furrows for my purpose holds to sail beyond the sunset and the beds of all the western stars until I die. It may be that the gulfs will wash us down. It may be we shall touch the happy isles and see the great Achilles whom we knew. It's not too late to seek a newer world. Ulysses, he still has the confidence to seek a newer world, the unseen world. So, he urges the sailors to start their travel. He urges his companions to sail beyond the sunset and seek a newer world regardless of consequences. Furrow. Furrow refers to the mark made in the water by the ship. Here, the happy isles refers to the island of the blessed, that is the Greek paradise where Achilles, the great hero of Greek, where Achilles enjoyed the summer in the isles. That is the happy isles, it refers to Greek paradise. So, he has a confidence that he will meet Achilles in the isles, happy isles. Whatever comes in his life, he is ready to face all the consequences. Death may come in his life, or he may achieve the goal. The last stanza, come to the last stanza. Though much is taken, much abides. And though we are not now that strength which in old days moved earth and heaven, that which we are. One equal temper of heroic hearts, made weak by time and fate, but strong in will to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. Though much is taken, even though he has travelled a lot, he has gained much knowledge, Ulysses says that still something is there to be achieved. Ulysses tells that the brave hearts of the sailors had once moved heaven and earth. They have grown old and weak physically now, but their spirit is young and fearless. They have the will to seek out, to face challenges without giving up. That's the only thing you should have. You should not give up even though you face a lot of trials and difficulties. In this stanza, Ulysses' call is an inspiration for all those who seek true knowledge and strive to lead a meaningful life. You see the last line, to strive, to seek, to find, not to yield. You have to strive to achieve, you have to seek, you have to find, and you should not give up. So let us see the figures of speech used in the poem. Personification. What do you mean by personification? Personification is a figure of speech in which a thing or an animal is given human attributes. That is called personification. Let me read the lines. Through scudding drifts, the rainy hyads vex the dim sea. Here, sea is personified. The sea is vexed. Okay, here sea is personified. It's given human qualities. Next line. The deep moans round with many voices. Here, voice is given human qualities. Next line. There lies the port. The vessel puffs her sail. So, in this line, the ship is personified as a woman. Thank you, children, for watching.